That's awesome.
There was one particular family that sticks out to me. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about it, Kristi. It was last year here in Florida. I don't think it's even been a year. In fact, I'm positive it hasn't. In north central Florida, in the Villages area, I believe the young man was trapped underneath a bridge. He was working on a road, I believe, and left his family immediately, I believe is what it was. Do you remember this story? It was in north central Florida. I know that it was that time we were working a golf tournament, and it was a young man, I want to say in his mid-20s.
Yep.
And like, it's just a terrible story, Richie, when I think about this, that you go to work. I mean, so many people, you think about that. You just go to work and assume your spouse and your husband or the father, his mother is going to come home, and then they don't. And it leaves these kids with who's going to pay for the backpack, who's going to make sure that the rent is paid that month. And that's one of the reasons I really love this organization.
Or even to bury, that person. I mean,
it's expensive.
Absolutely. Right, absolutely, Richie. And so you think that one of the things I want to get across to people, because I've gotten this, and I know Kristi, you do too. I've had friends that have said, well, isn't insurance going to cover that? Isn't the company going to step forward? And I think that everyone can agree that probably when this happens, unfortunately, there are times where attorneys get involved.
Right.
And that prolongs the process. And sometimes those companies are not going to work with that fallen construction worker and their family because attorneys get involved. And you can say that's right or wrong. But the one thing I like about Construction Angels is they're not there to pass judgment or be political. It's who's going to help this family get through. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons I got involved with them. I think that everyone puts their politics to the side. There's a family, there's children who have lost somebody that is so dear to them, that's the breadwinner of the family. And construction workers is doing their part to step in and bridge that gap. You can't go wrong with that. But that story sticks out in my mind. If you remember,
she came to the golf tournament that day. That's why you remember that. So that particular family came out, and it's really nice to be able to hand somebody the check and give them a hug, because now we've talked on the phone with this woman and cried with her. I do cry a lot when I get these phone calls or when I make them, and it gets emotional. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to say, please go pick a counselor in your area or somebody you feel comfortable talking to, and we'll pay the institute directly. $1,000, that's at least what you would think 10 sessions.
It's great stuff. Yeah, that's so, Richie, when people think about this organization, I hope they know that this is not them giving college scholarships are part of it, don't get me wrong, but this isn't some fund that these people are going to get if they cross all these X's and dot all these I's. No, this is cash that these people can use to get through the most difficult time that someone can imagine. And I just don't know how that's not something worth supporting right there.
No, that's excellent. I mean, and I hope that folks that are listening here that tells their friends and tells other people that this type of program does exist. I don't know how many people I know in the construction industry, many people that I know, and I didn't know that this program existed either. So I'm thankful that you're on the show today.
Thank you.
And if you are listening to it on iHeart, flip on over to our Facebook page, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. We'll be posting videos of this interview here and how you can get more information on this program to donate now or be a part of their fundraisers. I think it's a great event. We hope that you do raise a lot of money and you can help as many families as you possibly can. I think it's an excellent idea. And again, I mean, how many stories have we heard of people falling off of roofs or through a roof, and whether injuries and whether fatalities exist, and and the question is what do we do now? And I think that's going to be a question that we can easily answer and say, have you talked with Construction Angels yet?
Yep.
And I think it's a perfect match for what you're doing and our listeners.